Can you just smell baseball? Well, you should because the full team has arrived in spring training. And Joe Espada said everybody who's supposed to be there is there. He addressed the team. What did he say? Well, he said, none ya business. That's what he told the reporters. And we'll talk about what happened in today's camp and more on today's Locked On Astros podcast.
Welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on X at Eric Talkstros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros. And Brett did a earlier episode. He had to go watch a basketball game tonight, but we are super excited. Spring training has officially began, as all players have reported to camp. And so far, everybody, knock on wood, all position players are full go, according to Joe Espada. Everybody's ready to play. And Espada addressed the whole team. He didn't really say exactly what he told everybody, but basically he just came to camp and everybody came to camp and everybody's ready to go. So we're going to, he introduced all the new staff. Most of the people are there. And Tucker said it's kind of stuff that we've had in the past and what we want to keep on doing. Not to be complacent about where we've been, what we want to do, continue to grind, continue to win. He just kind of reiterated that and said we're just going to look forward to getting out there with everybody and get the season started. So let's go and get this episode started. Thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go and check out the Locked On Astros podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. New customers join today and you'll get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet of $5 or more wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started today. So I know a lot of people have been talking about Jeremy Peña. Jeremy Peña in the second half of the season, he did not have a lot of home runs. And he had 0 home runs actually in the second half of the season after hitting 10 in the first half. And a lot of it was he was not getting the lift on the ball. He was not getting a good launch angle. And so he, over the offseason, he took it upon himself to go and work on it. So part of the thing he did was he wanted to minimize his swing and minimize all the extra stuff he had. So I'm just starting with the bat from a still position on my shoulder. I'm still doing some kind of movement with my hands as I'm going. I'm not completely getting rid of the wag. It's just kind of controlling a little bit more. So you're still going to see a little bit of the wag, but it's not going to be like you've seen in the past. So he's going more towards what Michael Brantley's done in the past, where it's just kind of sitting there. And then when he's ready to load, he can go ahead and be more in a ready position to go and make better contact. So that's what he said. It felt good. It felt calm, felt under control. And that's the whole goal behind this, to start from a position where I feel comfortable and build off that. Now that I've tried it in live band practice, I'm going to keep on working off that. That's what he said after facing 2 pitchers, Josh Hader and Ryan Presley. So just imagine you have totally revamped your whole swing, and then you have to go face those guys. Josh Hader was making John Singleton look like he was just like minor leaguer, and Alex Bregman did get an okay swing off of him, but I think that Jeremy Peña was mostly just taking pitches, and I think he fouled the ball off, but he was just looking at what Josh Hader had. And Jeremy Peña actually made a comment and said, I'm glad he's on our team because I don't want to have to face this guy every so often. And there's a lot of rumors this offseason that Hader was going to go to the Rangers, and the Rangers couldn't do it because of the TV deal. So thankfully he's with the Houston Astros now. And so Joe Espada said he looks more comfortable in the box. He looks athletic. I think he's using the whole field, hitting the ball in the air more with power. I really like where he is early in camp. It's more efficient, and that's exactly what he's shown in the past couple of weeks in Houston. So just keep in mind, these guys are not just showing up to spring training without having amped up for this. With that being said, most time at this point in spring training, the pitchers are normally ahead of the hitters. So it's going to take a while for these bats to kind of catch up. So I know that we've heard Peña kind of tease everybody at the Fan Fest and at all the events he's been at. Well, I've changed my swing. How have you changed it, Jeremy? Well, you're going to have to wait till spring training. And so I can't wait till we see this in an actual game. And that's something that we're going to see. And I know I put this at the end of the show, but I'll go ahead and address it right now. You remember how Dusty Baker, one of his things that he believed in is kind of easing his veterans in. I want to see the young guys, and I'm going to go and ease everybody else in. Jose Altuve may play game 3. Kyle Tucker may play game 4. Then you have Alex Bregman may play game 5, that type of thing. So, but what Joe Espada, when he was asked today, he said, when will you start playing your veteran players? He said, I'm planning on getting them all into the games in the first 2 games. This is a total difference maker. This is something that a change of thinking, a change of everything from what we've seen for the past 3 to 4 years. Nothing wrong with what Dusty Baker was saying. Why tire these guys out in spring training? But at the same time, Joe Espada wants them to be ready for the regular season. So get them as many at-bats as you can, and then sit them down, let them go rest, let them go play golf or whatever they want to do while they're in Florida. So I think it's good to get them in as many games as possible. Don't have them play 9 innings, of course, on game 1, but it's really good to see some names in the first couple games versus just all the minor leaguers that are in camp right now. So yes, you do want to see them play, and you want to see what the future is for Houston Astros, but that was a good kind of idea from that. So let's go on to what the next Abreu is doing. Jose Abreu is doing Pilates. So that's kind of something that's a little bit new. So according to Abreu, after one of his worst seasons in his career, his agent and him were talking and were like, okay, you're coming off your worst season. How can we get you better? And they said, let's go and try Pilates. And so they decided to go do Pilates. And he says, it's for the whole body. It's something incredible. I recommend it that you do it as well. I just want you people to understand it's something very healthy for people to do. So I think what he's trying to do is not just build up his upper body strength. A lot of people do that by lifting weights and everything, but he's also trying to build up his lower body and maybe bring up his balance. So Abreu says, I think the most important thing for me is understand the player I am. Last year, I felt indebted to the organization, and I tried to prepare as much as possible to be able to contribute. So we remember the issues he had last year. It was the back. He had all the back issues. Then he took that little IL stint. And then when he came back, we saw a whole different Jose Abreu. I know he had that shot in the back. And so everything was better for him. So he was asked about the back, and he did say, oh, yeah, my back's fine. And he had a big old smile there. So if Abreu's healthy and he's in better shape this year, ready to go, I think we're going to see a much better, more productive season, maybe see more of the power that we saw towards the end of the season and into the playoffs. That way we can have a more consistent hitter throughout the season. So, but we already heard Dana Brown say that they're going to limit some of the bats for Abreu. And so part of doing that is giving John Singleton or maybe Greg Kessinger, Trey Cabbage, or Dubon some playing time at first base. And so I'll have some good things to say about Cabbage in a second. But Abreu did say, Espada is the guy that gets to make those decisions. For me, if I'm in a good position where I can play first base, I'd like to do that. But the most important thing is the team can win. The team can win with me being there. That's what we have to do. If it takes him playing DH just to stay healthy, he'll do that. And you'll hear that from a lot of guys. The chemistry on this team is really good. And so we'll go and talk about Kyle Tucker. What are his thoughts about the extension and the future for him? Guys, let's talk about eBay Motors. Do you have this car that you just love? We all love the Houston Astros. Well, do you have this ride or die that you want to keep driving forever? It's the passion, the patience, everything that the Astros have to go out there and win the World Series. That's probably what you have for your ride and die, your car. So eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, and eBay Motors has you covered. That sounds like Trey Cabbage right there. But with over 122 million parts for your number one ride and die, you'll always find out exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber, not cash. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Motor Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. So, guys, let's go and also talk about Locked On Sports Day. It's the first ever 24/7 streaming platform out there. It is all the shows, all the news you need to know when you need to know it, 24/7 on YouTube. So now the NFL is over. All the focus is going to be on NBA as they close out the season. Can the Rockets get there? What about the Astros? Are their favorites right now? We'll talk about this in a second. How many wins are they expected to get this year? And all this. So go ahead and check out Locked On Sports Day, and hopefully you'll see Brett and I there soon. All right, so let's go ahead and switch over to Tucker. Tucker is coming off a season where he just fell one home run short of the 30-30 mark. And while he said that wasn't a big deal, I think for him it was a big deal because that's a big accomplishment. And so he said that he would like to come out there and maybe do what Acuna did, hit 60 home runs and steal 70 bases or whatever he did. But he said that's not who he is. He's not going to go out there. He's just going to be the player he is. But what Tucker can do is he's going to go out there and just play ball. And he said he was asked about the contract situation. And you know that everybody's asking Joe Espada. Joe Espada answered that about Alex Bregman. I'll address that in a second. But everybody's asking about these contract extensions, especially because Dana Brown came over. He made these bold promises. Oh, yeah, I'm going to keep Jose Altuve. Done. I'm going to keep Alex Bregman. That's still not done. So that's why all these reporters keep on asking, well, Dana Brown said he was going to make this a proposal for you. Have you heard anything? So that's nothing's happened. But this is what Tucker had to say. He said there's been some talks, but not a hard offer or anything like that. He said he's always open to have those conversations, whether it happens now or a little later. I think what he means is if it doesn't happen before the season starts, it's going to happen after the season. So he's one of those guys I don't think is going to negotiate during the season, and there's no real need to. I think with Bregman, there's more of a rush to get him extended now than there is for Tucker, because Bregman, if he chooses to go to free agency, some team's going to outbid the Houston Astros. Let's be honest. It's probably going to be the Yankees just to get him out of Houston, or the Red Sox, some team that has a lot of money and has a need at third base. They're going to go out and try to get Alex Bregman because Alex Bregman is a top 5 third baseman. So I think that with Kyle Tucker, you still have a little bit more time. And he said, like I've always said, we're open to having these conversations, whether it happens now or a little bit later. And I'm open to having these conversations and just talk it through. So he said, I'd rather not prolong it forever, but it just kind of depends. Just kind of those conversations, work it out and see what's best for me. The team just got to kind of take everything into account just to see where it goes. But I enjoy my time here. It's been great. I look forward to the season, looking forward to going to a World Series. That's what we're here to do. So basically, he doesn't really care about the extension right now. He just wants to go out and win another World Series. And so that's kind of where Alex Bregman is right now. He's not really focused on next year. The team is focused on 2024. And that's what you want them to do. You want them to have this fire, this desire to go out there and kick some you-know-whats and go out there and dominate baseball. Because I don't know if you've seen this, but all the computer models have the Astros winning the most games in the American League and third most in baseball, only falling behind the Dodgers and the Braves. So there's some good stuff going on. The Baseball Prospectus Pacoda, they have the Astros winning 94 games with a World Series percentage, winning the World Series at 10.5%. And the Dodgers have a 20.5 and an 18.1% of winning the World Series. FanGraphs has the Astros at a league high 91 wins. So the Astros, there's a lot of favorable things with this team. Part of it is Kyle Tucker. Part of it is Alex Bregman. You want to keep the core together. But at the same time, as Jim Crane said, you can't keep them all. So it's a matter of picking which pieces are the most important. They decided that George Springer was not that important to this team. Otherwise, they would have offered him more money. Carlos Correa, they had Jeremy Peña waiting in the wings. So they obviously went out there and just let Carlos Correa go. Correa was wanting a lot of money to play ball, and he's a great player and everything. But when Joe Espada was asked about Alex Bregman and playing in a contract year, he said, he's just going to go out there and just play great baseball. I don't think it's going to affect him. If he's ready, if he thinks he's going to have the best season of his career, great. I want that. That will help us win the World Series, and that's all our goal is. So I don't think Joe Espada is going to address the extension. And Dana Brown, for some reason, he is addressing the extension talks. We saw him on Sports Talk 790 kind of talking about it. They are still going to make an offer to Bregman and Kyle Tucker. It's just a matter of when. So we'll have to see when that is. But if you're looking at what's going on with Forrest Whitley, I know I teased this in yesterday's show, so I want to go ahead and follow through with this. But Whitley is now 26 years old. He's always been a starter. And so starters have a different routine than relievers. You've had starters in the past like Christian Javier. It doesn't matter. They can go to the bullpen, to the rotation, and they're kind of flexible. They have this rubber arm where they can kind of do that. But I think that what Forrest Whitley is going to have to do is he's going to have to adjust to this new routine. And so he said, I think as the years have gone, I've definitely been more comfortable walking into this locker room. I'm 26 now. I'm married. I feel like I'm a little bit more of an adult showing up in the locker room than I've been for the past few years. He knows this is his last chance. He knows that he's out of options. I mean, he could still go down to the minor leagues this year, but if he doesn't make it to the Astros this year, he's going to become a free agent. So the Astros know this. He knows this. And so he said, I felt like the last few camps, I put way too much pressure on myself, just kind of giving myself unrealistic goals out of camp. But this is my 5th big league camp. So I feel like I have a pretty good idea of what the coaches like to do. I kind of know what to expect. I just have to keep my goals in a lane and not go outside of those. So if it goes another way, I'm not too extremely disappointed or anything like that. But yes, I have a good feeling about this camp, and I feel like if I make it through healthy, I got a good chance. We already heard that his New Year's resolution was no MRIs in 2024. So hopefully he's able to do this. And so what we have to do is we have to see if he can adapt to the bullpen. And so it's definitely a different circumstance. And so it's going to be different. So this past offseason, he's been kind of adapting to pitching maybe back-to-back days versus maybe every 5 days. So what we really taught Forrest and taught Forrest's body how to adapt to any given circumstances. If his body can't adapt and he can't handle the stress of a game or a relief outing, he's not going to be sustainable. So they feel like they have done what they needed to do for him to be ready. He feels like he's ready. And Joe Espada has even said, we know when he's healthy, we know what he's capable of. So it's just a matter of Can he prove what he did? Dana Brown went to MLB and basically begged, can we have a fourth minor league option year for him? Because he has missed so much time because of injury, suspensions, everything like that. So there's a finger thing that popped up, but they feel like it's not anything to be worried about. So to close this out, Whitley says, I feel like I've been at the doorstep here for many years. It's been very frustrating, as you have seen, but it is what it is. It's made me more of a resilient player. I'm thankful for that. So we'll just keep moving forward. And so that's what you got to do when times are tough, when you don't get that job you want, when you don't get the girl you want, you just got to keep on moving forward. And that's what Forrest Whitley has done. And so we'll go ahead and talk more Astros in a second. Hey guys, it's baseball season, so that means it's time to get your bet on. What about FanDuel? FanDuel is the best fan site out there for betting. So get your buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $100, $150 if your team wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same game day parlays, exclusive props, and many more. So just visit FanDuel/locked on and shoot your shot. Don't forget all the baseball prop bets that are coming up. How many wins with the Astros? Are the Astros going to go into the World Series? This is all can be found at FanDuel.com/locked on. FanDuel, it's the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. All right, so looking around camp a little bit more, it's good to see everybody reporting healthy. And something I do want to address that I think I talked about it earlier, but it's good to see that Joe Espada said that all the vets are going to play, and they're going to play early in spring training. So that way they get more reps and they get more ready. Because I know that Jose Abreu, I think if I remember correctly, he had a great spring training last year, but some reason – once opening day came about, he just wasn't the same guy. So I think that it will help some of these guys get in the rhythm and everything. So, and Alex Bregman, I think that he's off to a great start. He's cocky. This is the Alex Bregman we need. And if you have cocky Alex Bregman, watch out, American League, because he's going to come out. He's going to kick some butt this year. So some other news and notes from around today's camp. Joe Espada did address Justin Verlander. Verlander did throw a bullpen yesterday, and he said that everything went well. He looked good, and he played catch today in the outfield. So everything looks good for Justin Verlander. He's progressing. And somebody asked him about JP France, and he said, well, JP France is off today, but he's coming along. So I don't know what that means, but we'll see what happens from there. Dana Brown was on Sports Talk 790 today, and he talked a lot about as a GM having the scouting eye. And he said part of the reason why he traded for Trey Cabbage was because he passes the scouting eye. He has speed, he has power. If they can somehow find a way to manage his strikeouts, this guy is going to be a legit player. So he's super excited to look at what the analytics and what they can offer Cabbage to make him become a successful everyday player. And Dana Brown also said that we put together an offer. We'll put together an offer, but he's locked in right now. So basically, Bregman's focused on camp right now. He's not worried about getting extension. And I could just imagine trying to do my job and everybody comes in every day. Hey, Eric, have you been offered a job for next year? So that must be pretty stressful. So also Dana Brown said about Jake Myers about is he still confident about him playing center field? He says Myers just needs to try to find that consistent stride in his game, and then good things will happen. And so it was good to hear Dana Brown kind of bring back kind of offer now that everybody's here. Just his point of view from spring training, and it was just kind of good to hear all that. So one of the players that we're going to hear a lot from this year, maybe especially with JP France kind of questionable right now, is possibly Spencer Arrighetti. Arrighetti struggled a little bit last year in Corpus. He had 11.05 in his first 4 outings, but then he just righted the ship, lowered his in the next 5 outings. He had a 0.67 ERA in May, and then he got and then he just figured things out, got moved up to AAA. So he made the adjustments he needed to move up and to move up the charts. So I think that a lot of people in the organization are excited to see what this former 6th-round draft pick can do. He came from the University of Louisiana Lafayette, and he's probably going to make his major league debut sometime. He posted a 4.40 ERA with a 1.25 WHIP and 10.2 strikeouts per 9 innings in 124 2/3 minor league innings last year. So between AA and AAA. So he's definitely he needs to still build up the innings a little bit. And even if he makes his debut at some point, the Astros will monitor his workload. But you have arms like Hunter Brown that are probably going to be extended a lot more. And you wouldn't believe who Spencer Arrighetti's favorite player was. It was Justin Verlander. And so it's kind of cool also that this young player is going to be able to play, have a probably locker in the same area with Justin Verlander. So he says that nobody, Spencer, a coach says that no one plays in big leagues for multiple years. They're not the same player at the end of their career as they were at the beginning. Spencer's ability to identify, with the help of our coaches, where performance lacked and what we need changed was fantastic. So that was from Jacob Buffa. He's one of the he's the senior director of player development. So that's what he had to say. But Spencer Arrighetti says that he loves analytics. He says, I eat it up. I fall in love with the analytics a little bit, and sometimes I get myself a little too high on them. I think about it more than I think about the game itself. I'm in a position where I'm trying to find that balance. I think the more that I worry about the execution and the less I worry about the data saying, the better ball's coming out of my hand. I have to find a happy spot in the middle. So he is a perfect pitcher for this Astros organization. And so I think that everybody's excited to see what he does, especially in spring camp and once he makes his debut. So if you're looking at what he's trying to do a new thing. He's trying a new sinker. It's going to be slow burn, I think. It's not going to be my predominant fastball ever. Most likely it's going to be a useful weapon for me against righties once I start building it in and finding good spots in the zone to do it. So basically, this kid is somebody to keep your eye on. So spring training is coming along. We're going to have games as early as Friday, and I'm excited. The Astros have what it takes to win another World Series. Now it's just a matter of everybody you had a lot of players have down seasons. Jeremy Peña had a down season. Jose Abreu had a down season. You had several players. Framber Valdez had a bad second half of the season. So now you have all these players that need to go ahead and go out there and have a good season. If you have all these things come together, then you should have a good thing. I take it back. The debut, the first game of the spring training will be Saturday, and Ronel Blanco will get that start in that game. So that's what Joe Espada said today. And so that's awesome to see Ronel Blanco get that. I know he's probably not going to be on the opening day roster or probably in the rotation, but it's just cool to see somebody like that get the move. So that's all I got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. Make sure you go and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen every day on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. And we'll be back tomorrow talking more Astros spring training and what to expect from the Houston Astros. My name is Eric Huysman. I'm Brett. Your team every day. Go Astros.